All right, folks. Hey, welcome back once again to Rigged Reality Radio, your alternative to the alternative media. At least one of your alternatives. There aren't many of us out here. This is KJ, and I'll be your host. Thanks for coming back. It's always a pleasure. We've had a good run here lately. Had a lot of great shows. I've had a lot of great open call nights, and that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to keep some open lines, and we're just going to let you all call in at your will. And I think what we're going to do on top of that is we're going to have a special guest who I believe is on the line with me now, and that's going to be Nicholson1968. So let me go ahead and welcome him on now, because these shows get a little crazy as far as calls go, and I'd like to go ahead and just jump right into it. Nicholson, are you there?
I'm here, my friend.
Hey, man, how are you? It's great to talk to you again. It's been a while.
It has been a while. It's going good. Just been busy. Just like for those who have probably never heard me before on video or radio, this will be probably the first time in a while. But glad to come back on. Just staying busy. I'm just a working guy, just like everybody else. So I do the videos on the side and website on the side. So, but I do have a regular job during the day. So
definitely, man. Yeah, no, it's good. I've seen you're still putting work out there. Let me say this, too, real quick to anybody calling in. Just please remember to kind of turn the volume down on your computer or whatever you're listening to the show on, because I hear it in the background. Someone just called and we had some background, so I had to let them go. And there they are calling right back. So we're really jumping right into it. So, Nicholson, like I told you, man, we wouldn't even have a lot of time to catch up. I wanted to jump you right in and let's do it. Are you cool with that?
I'm fine with that. We'll just go from there.
That sounds good, and we'll catch up in between. I got a 815 number on the line. Are you still there?
Hey, KJ, how's it going?
Hey, it's good. Who am I speaking with?
This is Nick as well. I'm over in the Midwest. How you guys doing tonight?
Hey, doing good, man. Do you know Nicholson1968? Are you familiar with him?
I have not. I haven't had too much time on YouTube because, like live calls and stuff like that.
Oh, no. YouTube is life. This is what you have to understand, right?
Yeah.
It's my life, but yeah.
That's cool. I don't like to do too much in front of a computer, you know what I mean? It just kind of makes
I understand it. It's certainly for the better. Yeah, I kid around, but it really is for the better. You got to take breaks from it, man. It'll plug you right in and it won't let go.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm out jogging as we speak.
Oh, cool, man. Well, don't do anything crazy. I'm glad you called in. Anything in particular on your mind tonight?
You know what? I was kind of listening to some of the other calls you had. I really liked the Halloween show you did. I thought that was really good. And a lot of crazy stuff has happened that I've seen that's kind of really out of the ordinary. And it started since around the year 2000.
Was there anything big that happened in your life that may have, any deaths or anything, or?
Not really, but what I heard, some of your other callers, they'll either touch on strange stories. I think it was scary stories you were doing for Halloween, and then some of them called with out-of-body experiences. I was the biggest skeptic of that stuff until one time I was doing a lot of exercise, and I went crazy one day. And this was before I knew anything about spirituality or anything like that. I was like hardcore atheist, right?
Uh-huh.
And I went really, really far in exercising, which wouldn't sound in itself too strange, but
no, it does. Let me throw this at you real quick. Though, because I like where you're going with this. Maybe Kundalini is what comes to mind, and maybe you may have released the serpent and all that stuff. Keith or Nicholson might know. Go ahead.
It was nothing like that at all. It was just exhaustion, and I just I turned on the TV and just fell asleep, and it and I was sitting there. I tell you, I swear to you, I just found myself looking at myself laying there with the same blanket I had threw down on the floor, with the TV on to the same station that it was on. And I was just watching myself there, and then I'm like, wow, there's really something to this stuff. I didn't feel any different as much as I do right now talking to you. I could have told you my address, my phone number, who I was, my name, and there's a whole other, almost like another dimension that overlaps this dimension, and you can kind of like look into this dimension, but there's like another dimension that's there with all kinds of other stuff going on that I couldn't even touch the tip of the iceberg of what's going on.
What do you remember seeing?
Well, I was like, oh, okay, I figured out what was happening. I put two and two together. You know, I read a couple things here and there about it, but I kind of flew out the window. I was all happy. I remember, like, laughing kind of to myself, and I remember breathing, like, and I remember you asking one of your other callers, did you see, like, a cord? And yes, that was there. It was like almost like an umbilical cord.
Yeah.
And it had, like, it seemed like if I was closer, like it might have been larger, and then as I went away, it was like thinner, so it was like almost like a thread.
Wow, that's where the term "this mortal coil" comes from. I don't know if you've ever heard that term before, but yeah, that's yeah. Nicholson, you know anything about that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, Nicholson. I just wanted to see if you wanted to respond. Did you know something about that?
I've heard much of, not too much about it, but, I wanted to ask the caller, I mean, were you, before all this happened, had you been sleeping well? Were you tired, overexhausted, or just, you said you were exercising, and I hear that a lot. People that right before they see stuff like what you're describing, they're overly tired or exercised or hadn't slept in a couple of days, that kind of thing.
I don't think anything like that in particular. If I would guess, it seemed like my body was so done with it that it just almost like kicked my soul out for a while.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's how I felt. And,
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and then the weird thing is that after that one time, I could control it for like one more day. I could make it happen whenever I wanted for like the next night. Like if I woke up to go to the bathroom or something, I could go right back into it, and I would fly around and do stuff. And then it kind of went away. And ever since then, like it's happened a few more times. And then it seems like there's all these other kind of weird things that have happened, but I don't want to like take up all the calls or anything like that. It's just this stuff.
No, man. Yeah, that's a fascinating. Go ahead.
All right. I was going to say, if you, I never got to see like any kind of like email address. Like if someone wants to email you something, I never really saw anything. Like, do you ever take any emails or?
Yeah, man, I'm working on that. I'll put a new one up. I had mine public. I made it public on my channel like a month and a half ago, and within 2 weeks, somehow someone had gotten into it and changed the password. So I haven't even been able to look at it. Yeah, it's crazy, man. So, yeah. And it, so I'm just gonna I'm working on finding a more secure one, and then I'll put it out there for sure. But either way, man, no, thank you for sharing that story. That's fascinating stuff. Like I always talk about the veil lifting, and you really pierced through that side, and that's all stuff that I'm sure only God knows, because I don't understand how that stuff works when you got somebody who maybe breaks through literally to the other side a little bit, and some of it resonates with you. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's happened like probably since then, maybe 50 to 100 times. And so, what is it, 2014? So it's been happening a lot. Not all of it is good, and a lot of it there's things that are organized out there. I mean, they dress the same. They fight with like things you would never even imagine. Like it's like the Wild Wild West. It's like an unregulated territory.
Wow, man.
That's how I would describe it. It's just like you're out there, you're on your own. You fight with your mind. Good luck.
That is so crazy and kind of cool. I'd like to think that maybe once everything's over on this planet and everything's truly spiritual and we all kind of exist in that world, hopefully heaven for us, with God, with Jesus, and in the galaxies. I wonder if those are the kind of battles that will be taking place. I can't imagine we're just going to be sitting around for eternity singing songs from hymnals. You know what I mean? So who knows? But hey, caller, man, what's your name or nickname if you want to give us one?
Nick.
Okay, that's right, Nick. Sorry, man.
Yeah. If you want to hear another scary story, I could drop a couple more, or I could just wait till next week or whatever. That'd be cool.
No. We don't have anybody else calling right now, so go for it, man.
All right. One other thing. I was driving, and I had a girl I was dating. I was picking her up from her house. It was nighttime. At this time, I lived way out in New Mexico, so it's like a hotbed of craziness out there as well. So we're driving down the road, and you know how sometimes like a deer will jump out in front of your car? Or, I don't know where you live, but, a deer, like you see like an animal on the side. I'm like, oh, crap, I better slow down. There's something coming from the side of the road. So I would never, ever think of this ever happening. So this thing jumps in front of the car, and I hit the brakes, and it's nighttime. We have the headlights on, and we both lean forward to look at it, because at first I'm like, oh, I thought it was a deer. And I'm like, oh, I thought it was a dog. And it gets like within like 5 feet of the headlights, and I'm almost stopped. The thing was a black, transparent, the headlights went through it, and it looked like a size of a large dog or like a small bear. And the back end of it was higher than the front. And the lights went through it, so it was kind of in this realm, but kind of not, but it still used the road, and it could tell like what the car was. It kind of knew we were there. I think it purposely jumped in front of the headlights. I don't know. But we both saw this thing, and I looked at the girl, the girl I was with her. I was like, what? Did you see that? She's like, yeah, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. And then later on, I watched the movie Constantine with Keanu Reeves. It looked exactly like what they have in that movie that they call Soldier Demons.
Oh, wow. I remember that scene when there were all of them attacking him out in the street.
Yeah, they had smaller front legs than the back legs, but they walked on 4 legs like a dog. And they in the movie, they had skin. But this thing that I saw, it was totally black, but it had that shape to it. Like it had the same head, like it had a little head, but kind of a larger body than his head. And then like the back, it was exactly that movie. And that movie isn't portraying something that is just in someone's imagination. Those things exist.
Yeah, no, man, that's really interesting. Did you see this after you had your out-of-body experience?
Yeah, it was like years later.
So see, that goes back to that whole theory of, what if that's what happened? What if you really kind of brought some of that back? And, you're right. We see these. I'm a big sci-fi junkie, and I used to be more of a horror junkie, too. But you always see that story in movies and TV shows, about people. Some people can see the supernatural. There's a Grimm. That's one of them right there. These things exist, but only a few people can see. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what this thing. I don't know how it would work. Like, could that thing affect something in our reality? I don't know. Like, if it went up to something, would it go through it? That's what I'm wondering. Like, how much in our realm is that? Like those things, whatever it is, and what was it doing? It was out in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't imagine. I mean, there's houses and people around, and I don't even know what those things do. I'd like to figure it out.
Yeah, that's really wild, man. Go ahead, Nicholson.
I was just going to say later on, if you want, I had an experience, not like that, but it's a little bit different. It had to do with how my channel and website started with the 9/11 thing in 1998. So kind of the different realm. See, I was a skeptic too. You know my story, but the listeners may not. I was a skeptic. I mean, I just went looking for the truth and, wherever it led me. So we can talk about that later.
Yeah, for sure, man. We'll jump into it, and in fact, we'll do that right here. Nick, I'm going to go and have to let you go because I get another caller on the line. But man, thanks for sharing. That's really interesting stuff.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, thanks a lot, KJ. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Nick. All right.
Take care, man. Be safe. Okay, so I got somebody else on the line here with a 228. Are you still there?
Yeah, and it's Trey.
Yeah, hey.
How y'all doing this evening?
Hey, we're doing good. Who are we speaking with?
Trey Ivy.
Oh, hey, Trey. What's up, man?
Look, I got some, I've been in it deep this week.
You have.
Last week, how I was talking to you about the Black Knight and space and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I have been on some heavy skeptic looking into everything I can, because I have been on this run of cruise, if you could call it. And I have been watching Nania, if you heard of her or watched any of her stuff. She's pretty good, and Zen Garcia is pretty good too. Well, after looking at the Bible and translating the Bible back to the way it originally was wrote, it really gives you an open mind as far as technology. There's a big misconception that angels are with wings and fly around. It don't really work like that. There's a huge, huge technology that's being used against us, and that was brought from heaven to the earth. And the Bible even tells you that they revealed secrets of heaven to earth.
Well, let me let Nicholson jump in here on that one, because he kind of covers something similar. Nicholson, what do you think about that?
The whole heaven thing. I'm just trying to think how to explain it, but everything has a time and its place. There is a heaven, there is a hell, but people that watch my channel, I'm working on a video now, but there's a time and a place for everything and a realm for everything. So I'm not, I don't really know quite to think on that. That's kind of up to God on this one. kind of.
Yeah. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I just wanted to see what you thought about that. Go ahead, Trey.
Well, see, the thing is, there's several heavens that's talked about. The sky is a heaven. The right above the sky, like the atmosphere dome, is a heaven. Yep. And then space is a heaven. I mean, space is the big heaven that the Bible's always talking about. When it says a sign appeared in heaven, it's talking about a constellation that showed up in space. The Bible tells you that you can look up and see Orion and the Pleiades, and that's God's handiwork. That's what it says. Well, after looking in Nani and Zen Garcia's work, and they prove it to you, man. Nani, she gets on there and shows you the Bible, and then shows you, because all the words are numbered. The original text where they translated the words are numbered. Well, she shows you the numbered word in the Bible from the text on screen. You know how you can use Bible Hub, Blue Letter Bible, all that stuff. Well, once you look at the words and take the number that's initiated to the word and go look up the other meaning, it gives you such a huge perspective of what's really going on. And it really blew my mind for the fact that is, man has this traditional thing that goes on. A lot of people don't care for the truth. They want their dogma and religion. You can tell them the truth all day long, and they'll say, no, this is real. This is, our tradition's right, not the truth.
Go ahead, Nicholson.
That's why Jesus said, "Come to me like a little child." And people go, "Well, what do you mean? You want me to come on my knees and bow down like a little child?" No, what he means, see, when a child is in a sandbox and there's a black child, there's a yellow child, and there's a brown, see, he doesn't know racism. So when Jesus says, "Come to me like a little child," he says, "Come to me without all of your doctrine, all of this gobbledygook that man is teaching you, so you can understand." So what you're saying is totally right on.
Okay.
Go ahead, Trey.
When you talk about Jesus does not see racism, there's actually one race. It's the human race. And this whole reality we're fighting, it's the human race versus another race that came out of the garden itself. And I'm not really going to go into blowing people's mind about the deception between a false God in the Old Testament and the real God in the Old Testament, because there's a deception in there. And the real God shows up and says, I'm not the one that made you send up burnt offerings. You did not burn animals to me. That was not me. It says that. But in the garden, man, once you go back to the right meanings and the right words, it tells you that this other race was created with a technology. It's like a shaft. Now, when I say a shaft, look at what Moses had. He had a walking staff it was technology is what it was. Well, what this technology does, it wraps light around you. It's a cloaking device, okay? And what this cloaking device does, it says that it made them beautiful and gained success. So their beauty gained them success, okay? You know, if you look at it like this, we know how Hollywood is very, very, very demonic. And if you start losing your looks and all that, you're done. Well, even in Solomon's time, that was the richest kingdom, period.
Yep.
All right, they gained all kind of money and gold and all kind of wives. Well, in this modern day, there's a veil over us. Our flesh is veil. It's a veil. It's what it is, and that light is a veil for them. We see it on you know how David Alex always talking about the reptilian race, and people's always posting videos on reptilians. The eyes are slit. You know, the eyes are the doorway to the soul. Jesus said that. Well, what you're looking at is a not human. They got this piece of technology on them somewhere, and it's glitching. Yeah. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at
shape shifting.
See, when it glitches, you can tell that they're not human. That's what you're seeing.
I've seen a lot of those, man. I've started on a lot of those years ago too, and of course there's so many that are just not right. You know what I mean? They just are kind of garbage. But there are a select few I've found that are so spot on and creepy. And I know Nicholson's with it too, but I'm all about that. I always question that, and I like to look into the whole serpent seed race. I also think about the tears, and then there's all kinds of areas we can go into all that. Either way, Trey, I hate to have to let you go, man, but I'm starting to get hit with a lot of calls. Did you want to leave us with anything else?
Yeah. I knew I wasn't going to get enough time. I want to try to call back later. But what powers this thing, there's a satellite in space that NASA's got, and it's called Satan. It's a satellite automatic tracking antenna, and that's what powers all this stuff. And this is going to fall in a couple of years, and the veil is going to lift off of these people, and you're going to see them.
Yeah, I've looked into that. I've looked into that too, and that's really exciting. I don't know how, but I've even questioned that as well. Like if these things are out there and this really is that big of an illusion, sooner or later the veil's really going to drop, and then the mask will come off, and these things will be revealed. It'll be interesting, man. We'll see. But either way, Trey, hey, man, really, it's always good talking to you, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Trey.
Take care, man.
I'm going to try to call back.
Okay, please do. All right. Nicholson, man, thanks again for just flowing with me on like this. I know it gets a little kooky and crazy, but it keeps it fun, for me at least. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, man. And we do have some topics to discuss if it ever slows down. I've got some things I wanted to talk to you about, and also talk about your story as well. We'll get you started. We'll get that in as well. Now, I got somebody on the line with an 870. Are you still there?
Yeah, hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going?
How's it going, KJ?
It's going great. Who are we speaking with?
My name's James.
Oh, hi, James. And do you know Nicholson1968?
No, I don't think I'm familiar with him.
I'm going to leave a link whenever I repost this on the channel because I know a lot of my subs are into Nicholson and vice versa, but some of you guys aren't familiar. You'll have to check it out. He does a lot of great work. Either way, man, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up? I just want to discuss a couple of topics that I think would be interesting to discuss on your show.
It's all you, man.
I guess I'll start with kind of where I came from.
Please do.
I was out in Los Angeles for a while doing with an acting career, and while I was in Los Angeles, I was kind of actually I was actually kind of running away from God. Like I knew in my heart that it really wasn't the place I needed to be or whatever. And when I got there, I couldn't run away anymore, and I started to, I became a Christian, and so I started to, actually discover the stuff that God was trying to show me all this time. And so he kept on pressing on my heart about the end times and everything, and I didn't want to listen, and kept on saying, no, I don't want to listen, that's ridiculous and stuff. And then I started to kind of research into it a little bit more. And to my surprise, I started to discover that this actually could be the time we're living in. And so then I just started to do more research and have gone all the way to the bottom of this stuff. And something about one of the topics I want to bring up is
I'm sorry. I just want to ask you really quick though. So while you were living out there, you were doing. I lived out there too. Whereabouts were you? Like what part of LA?
I lived in Silver Lake for a while.
Oh,
all the hipsters.
Cool. I love Silver Lake. Yeah, that's where a lot of my friends lived.
Good food.
Yeah, exactly. Cool little coffee shops and stuff. I lived in Burbank, and then I moved.
Really nice.
Then I moved to Montrose after that. But I spent a lot of time in Silver Lake. So while you were there, I probably did some of the. I worked TV production. I worked in a lot of reality TV shows and stuff. And then I did background. Did you ever do background stuff through Central Casting?
I did do some background. Yeah.
Yeah, same here, man. Because I lived I lived a block away from Central Casting in Burbank. So it was crazy. Anyway, man, so I relate. So I was out there with you, man, and that's where I had my awakening as well, and then that's kind of what made me leave. Go ahead. Yeah. So we're all caught up. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, when I turned to God and finally, was like, okay, I accept this, because there were literal times in Los Angeles where God literally answered my prayers through experiences. Like one time, the first time actually, he'd been pressing on my heart that we were in the end times for a long time, and I was just kind of like, it can't be, it's just like, no, it's ridiculous. And then I met a random. I was doing a model photo shoot out there, and the photographer was a Christian, and they randomly started talking to me about the end times and saying, this is God confirming it to you, that we are in the end times, and just all this crazy stuff. And I was like, oh goodness gracious.
Wow. So you were doing like a shoot. You're on a model shoot, and then the photographer was a Christian, and you just kind of mentioned, hey, I've been looking into this, and then they told you you're on the right path, basically.
I think we actually got on the discussion of Christianity, and then they just told me we're in the end times, and then it's like it hit me right then, like that was a straight answer for what I needed to hear,
Perfect. You know what it is? It's interesting, man, because we forget, a lot of times in my videos I focus on the beast system, and that dark consciousness is out there. Yeah. It's a hive, but the same token, God's kids have a hive mind, and the Holy Spirit is reaching all of us through different people, so it's awesome to hear those stories, man.
Mind of Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had a couple experiences, but we won't get into those. Anyway, I want to talk about spiritual warfare.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about what you like. We still have a good hour and a half. I got somebody else patiently waiting on the line now, so I think we got a little time. If you want to tell us, because those kind of stories to me are cool, the ones from out there. I've had some friends who've got some really cool testimonies that were out there too. So anyway, just whatever you want to talk about. You got about a good 5 minutes. All right, go ahead.
And once I became a Christian, and then said all this stuff is real, I started to weird things that happened throughout my life became very clear that it was spiritual and everything. And I didn't really look into it before I was a Christian, because I didn't want to understand it and everything. But there was just a lot of spiritual warfare going on in Los Angeles, just everywhere. I mean, you just feel this energy out there like nothing else. It's crazy.
Yep, I know, man. I don't know about you. I was at a lot of industry parties and stuff, and I got to go to some things like that. And I even worked a really random job. I think I mentioned it on the show before, but when I was out there just for extra money in between shows, I started cleaning. And this cleaning company I was working for wound up renting out one of the mansions that was used in the TV show Entourage. and they had an Oscar party. It was for a week that lasted a whole week before the Oscar ceremony, and it was in Beverly Hills, and we were the porters. So me and a team of 3 other people had to wear like these black and white suits and walk around this Oscar party and clean up the bathrooms and stuff. No kidding, right? And it was like, I mean, I saw Martin Scorsese dancing around. I mean, just you name it. All the people were there, you know. But the energy was just so crazy, man. It's just weird being around that. But
are you familiar with the Actors Studio in West Hollywood?
Oh yeah, a lot of people come out. A lot of big people come out of that.
I was actually in that thing before I came back home to start school recently.
Oh, cool, man, cool. I mean, what was it like being in that? Did you feel dark energy there, or was it?
It was more of just an odd energy, just more of just an odd kind of type of feel there, just kind of weird. Like really, I don't know how to explain it. It's weird.
That's all right, man. Fair enough. But man, I appreciate you. Go ahead.
Just like one more thing. I've been seeing on the internet and stuff about how I guess scientists are saying that like the year of transhumanism is 2045 or something like that. And I don't really know what to think about that. I was just wondering, like, what would you say on that?
You're in luck because you got Nicholson on the line. I want him to, because he loves that subject. Go ahead.
All right.
Well, thanks for calling in. And KJ is right. You can't the right guy on for this one. Transhumanism is part of the satanic agenda. That's what my channel is about. It didn't start out that way, but it ended up that way. But you got to think in the terms. I'm a chess player, and what's going on? You're talking about spiritual warfare. That's what's going on. God's building a kingdom, and Satan is trying to build his kingdom. His kingdom is physical, and God's kingdom is spiritual. And that's what's at war. But here's the thing. This is what you got to start off with. All the secret societies believe in one lie. Freemasons, Illuminati, it doesn't matter. This is why the elite do what they do. They believe that man was held captive in the garden until the serpent, reptilian, Satan, whatever you want to call, showed up on the scene and shared intellect with them that frees them from the Creator. That one day we will become gods through man's intellect. Right. That is right. Okay, so basically they are the builders that rejected Jesus' way. They don't want to do it Jesus' way, God's way, whatever Christ. Okay? They want you to stay here in the physical in a transhuman body. Download your consciousness into a transhuman vessel, cloned, whatever you're going to say. It's all the same. Because here's the thing. The elite believe in, it is this, cloning. So when your body wears out, you have a clone to download your consciousness into, and you live here forever. That's what transhuman is about. Right. So here's the deeper meaning, and people that come to my channel, Jesus showed you the way. What do you mean he showed you the way? You come as a man and you die as a man. That's how you get out of this. He showed you the way. Notice this deep. This is never preached. I've never heard it in a church. Notice when Jesus comes to his disciples, he says, I got to die. Peter jumps up and says, no, Lord, I won't let them kill you. Jesus says something very important. He says, get behind me, Satan. He calls Peter Satan. Why? I'll tell you why. Peter wants to keep him alive in this physical body. And I'm paraphrasing. Jesus says, no, dummy, I got to show you the way. I got to do this. I got to die. I'm showing you the way, the truth to life, because only spirit and water can inherit the kingdom of God, not flesh and blood. People who know their scripture know that. So
right, yeah.
So transhumanism is, last thing, but here's the thing of what's going on. We're just like butterflies. The butterfly is an egg, okay, starts off as an egg. We start off as embryos. Then they become ugly caterpillars. We become ugly men. We have to walk through this world ugly, pick up our cross. Caterpillar is ugly. It has to go. The next step is the cocoon, the sleep, the death. That's the next step for us. Then after the death, the cocoon is when you become the butterfly, the spiritual, the next step. Okay? Now watch this. But what Satan is trying to do is to convince the caterpillar to become a better caterpillar. He's fooling you because, see, if the caterpillar doesn't know the next step, that he's going to become a butterfly, then he becomes scared and tries to make himself better, a better caterpillar. See, that's what's so important to knowing the story of Christ. Don't try to make yourself a better man. That's not the way this thing's going to go down. That's why Jesus showed us the way.
Cool, man. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's
it
perfect.
makes sense. Yep, perfect.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
make me a better
right.
man. Yep. You know.
Well, cool. Go ahead.
More of my question on that was, why are they putting a date on it, like 2045? Do you think it will be that long, or do you think it could happen earlier? Because it seems like technology is advancing so fast.
That's a really good question, man.
It wouldn't take that long.
No, that's a good question. I do the same thing. I saw somebody recently on YouTube that was predicting the Antichrist and all that in like 17 years or something, and I'm like, I don't know, man. You know, like my just gut instinct is just, I don't know. And, you know, I never trust anybody who tells me dates and times, and especially mainstream news, you know, because it's all a deception. So, you know, that's where we have to really, and you know this, man, just pray and we'll be led to it. There's so much confusion to get through, you know.
And that's something so cool right now, is because it wasn't like a person didn't put in my heart to like seek all of this. It was like already there. And then, it basically, all the other people have just been confirming what I basically already know in my heart. And
cool, man.
God, you know?
Cool. Well, I hate to have to push you on, man, but it's been a good run. I appreciate talking to you and all, but I got some other people calling in. Thank you very much for calling, though. It was a great call.
Thanks.
No problem. Thank you. Bye.
See you later. All right, so I got an 815 that's been patiently waiting. Are you still there?
Yes, I am, KJ. It's Brandon again. So.
Hey, Brandon, what's up?
Hey, not much. I actually been watching Nicholas's 1968 page for a while, and I just wanted to first and foremost say thank you, because you and I believe he's an old school YouTuber called Farrakhan, I believe 201. I don't know if
501, yeah.
501, thank you. Yeah, he woke my eyes up through the whole mainstream media transhumanism mix, how the binary beats are making us in more of a carnal mind-esque state, you know, like our reptilian brain kind of thing. And I was watching a lot of your transhumanism, and it's just like, for people right now, I believe they're throwing it so much in our face, because it's the old expression, I believe really quick, is that back then it was easier to control 1 million than to kill 1 million, and today it's easier to kill 1 million than control 1 million. And I think they know their hold is slipping, like the veil is being lifted. But I just wanted to say thank you, and of course, KJ, as always, you have been a very big inspiration, because of the way you've just been so humble to people, seeing your interviews on the street when you were at Oklahoma, and just showing that's pretty much how we should be as a body of Christ, not people that should be picketing saying repent or die, but like the early apostles and the disciples did, were showing the love of Christ, showing why you need a Savior instead of why you should be banned. So
appreciate it, man. Appreciate you saying that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just really had one really quick question, because from what your last caller touched base on, and I thought it was awesome too what he was bringing up, is that do you think that, granted the 2045 thing is not too far around, but do you believe that we are pretty much full-fledged into this whole cloning? Because I always remember a movie, if you guys remember, called The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Is that movie rings a bell?
Yep.
Yeah. And I thought, KJ, from you mentioning it about the cloning, and you too, Nicholas, that that movie had such a big resonance now that I'm older, because, when you're 15, 16, you don't know what you're looking for. You're just like, I'm the man. Nobody can tell me anything. You're in the teenage years and you don't understand the signs and symbols and numerology other than the rules and laws that really dictate this earth. So, I mean, for me, is like, do you think that we're just very at this critical mass right now point? Like, with all this coming to fruition, they know their time is short?
I mean, yeah, gosh, you know what? Like, even today, I was just walking by the TV. I leave one on the living room sometimes. I'm usually working, but I can have something in the background. And I walked by, and that girl Snooki from Jersey Shore was on TV, and she was in an interview, and I couldn't recognize her when I walked by, and I had to go back and look. And she didn't even look the same. And then I had noticed that that's a trend I've seen, that a lot of times I'm walking by the TV, it'll be Access Hollywood or one of these goofy shows, because I just put it on a channel and walk away. And I'm noticing all these people that no longer to me look the same, not even human. It's just really weird. So, man, but then there's enough evidence. You can look into anything from Fritz Springmeier. I think he's done some writing on some of this, more like the mind control aspect. But there's a lot of different places you can go with it. I definitely not even think, but it just seems like it's so obvious, man. I mean, there's the whole Obama conspiracy with his scar on the back of his head. I mean, that one's fascinating to me too. Yep. And go ahead, Nicholson.
Well, see, this is the thing that led me down the road is, see, you got to understand, what is the enemy after? Period. That's it. One game. And once you understand what the enemy is after, then the game is over. It's pretty obvious. You can start seeing it. And here it is. Satan, or the scripture is, he wants to sit in the temple of God, declaring that he is God. Okay. You got to ask yourself, where's the temple of God? And see, this is the big deception. They think it's some building that's going to be built in Israel over there. No, the scripture even says, don't you know that your body is the temple of God, where God dwells? God does not dwell in a building. So here's the thing. Here I am. I'm a chess player. If the enemy is after the temple of God, which is us, the mankind, he wants to sit himself up in the temple of God. That is transhuman. He wants this body. He doesn't want land. He doesn't want gold. He doesn't want it. The enemy doesn't want that. So he's after the human body, the soul, everything else is a distraction over there. Because people think, I'm telling you, that people think that somebody's going to walk over there, and the New World Order may set this up for show, that's going to walk into a holy place, temple, and set something in it that causes desolation, an abomination that causes desolation in the holy place. They're thinking it's a building that he's going to put some vase in there, and Obama's going to say, I'm God, or what? No, it's not. You got to think about it. An abomination that causes desolation and is set in the temple of God. That's transhumanism. And that's what it is, plain and simple, what it's coming to. So anyway, that's...
Go ahead, Brandon.
Oh, yeah, and really quick, can I just ask you, so I understand the whole clay mixing with iron thing is what they're trying to do. So really quick, since you touched base on it, do you think, just out of curiosity still, that they're still going to set up a third temple, but the more important undertone, like you're saying, is like basically the clay mixing with iron, though, correct? I mean, is there still, you think, a possibility they might do a third temple?
I think the third temple, like a physical temple over there, which everybody's...
up in Jerusalem, like knocking down the mosque, like they're talking about now.
Yeah, that's everybody's focusing on that, and that's part of deception. Think about it. Everybody's focusing on that. Nope, 10 years ago, KJ knows it, I was talking about transhumanism back then. They really thought I was nuts. I mean, they just like, what are you talking about? I've got a video called Illuminati Black Gold Project. It has to do with programmable DNA matter. And it's very important that you watch that and understand what they are trying to do to, they even tell it in movies, in Transformers. Programmable.
Yeah, like the new one. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
It's the Holy Grail. See, if idiots think the Holy Grail is a cup, you're fooling yourself. The Holy Grail is us, where God dwells. So they're telling you, because here's the thing. Think about 1970. Captain Kirk flipped out his little phone. They thought that was amazing. Well, look now, we have flip phones. We're beyond flip phones.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's what KJ does, is help me. There's stuff they're showing us in movies that's coming. I mean, they already have the technology behind the scenes. The elite, see, here's the thing. People misunderstand. The elite want to use cloning and transhumanism to live forever. But you can also use that to control the masses. See, it just depends. It's like a radio waves. That's why the scripture, notice it says, Satan is the prince of the air, the kingdom of the air. What does that mean? Airwaves, my friends, wireless. The Avengers movie is coming out. It's called The Age of Ultron. You ever heard of MK Ultra? Ultron.
Yeah.
Yep. And notice,
yeah.
And so, even in the trailer, Ultron says there's no strings on me. I'll control my minions wirelessly. So, I mean, they're telling you.
Well, Brandon, you got anything else to add to that?
No, you know what? Honestly, I know you have other callers waiting patiently on the line, but thank you for answering the questions. And as always, may the blood of Christ protect both of you gentlemen in these final days, and keep on keeping on. Thank you, guys.
Hey, thanks, Brandon. You're awesome, man. Take care.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right, so I got somebody else on the line that says 682. Are you still there? Hi, is there a 682? Somebody on the line waiting here? Okay. I guess that's a no. All right, man. Well, then we're going to go ahead and jump to topic real quick, because there is something I wanted to talk about. So before I started the show, I was watching the chat room, and I saw you guys were a lot of people in there talking, and somebody pointed something out about the setup of the chat room, and I'm glad they did. Do you remember that, Nicholson?
I didn't notice that. I was trying to get...
Fair enough. Well, whoever would have, I can't even remember now because people are chatting and I can't, it's all the way at the top. But somebody had brought it up, and it's a good point. But the chat room over here, I'm with PSN Radio, right? PSN Radio, and they have the chat room. And the design is, if you take a look, if you ever get a chance, it's black cubes, all black cubes in the back. And then,
yeah, that's right.
Right, and then right where all the dialogue is in the chat room, it's black cubes with green energy coming out of them, and then to the right, you've got the DNA strand. So this is all stuff that both of us have talked about. I've talked about a lot of that stuff too. Yep. Either way, just so you know, folks, that's not me. I did not design this. This is all the guy that runs PSN Radio. Offered me a free radio show. I took it. I know him fairly well. I know he works a 9-to-5er, so I doubt he's Illuminati or anything evil. I think if anything, he's a really big pop culture junkie. And I bet you, it's just like anything. These are the kind of images that you see constantly portrayed in comics and all that stuff, and that's the stuff he's into. So I imagine it's just some of that matrix resonating. Either way, so just wanted to clear that up real quick. So we get another caller, though, on the line. It's a 682. I think they might be back with us. Are you there?
Hey, it's Timmy.
Oh, hey, Timmy. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, the phone hung up on me probably right when you were getting me on, so sorry about that. But how are you doing, Nicholson? How are you doing, KJ?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Thanks. What's up with you?
Oh, man, not a lot. Y'all covered a lot of ground so far. I had so many things I was going to say. I was like, I'll just flip it to this one, and then it's like keeps moving on. It's like, now I have no idea what I'm going to say.
Hey, that's all right, man. Well, okay, then if you want, I got a topic here. There's a couple of things I was looking at that I was interested in from this week, and one of them, maybe you guys heard of this, is I first saw it in a forum earlier this week, and then I saw that Paul Joseph Watson covered it, but it's called the sexodus. Have you guys heard of the sexodus?
I haven't.
So it's this big movement. It's this big movement that's happening where young men now, like in huge numbers, in America are just giving up on women completely. It's not that they're, quote, going gay or anything. They're just basically getting to the point where they're hanging out with their bros, they're playing sports, they're playing video games, and they're watching a lot of porn. You know what I mean? So it's so interesting to see that this matrix we always talk about truly is settling in, and this is such a wicked agenda that's been put in place forever anyway, from the so-called beast system, if you will. It's a communist agenda, whatever name you want to put on it, but it's all about destroying the family and ultimately destroying, love and purity and innocence and all that. So it's not cool. I was about to say, sorry about that. It's very interesting to see that happening and how it's all playing out. So I guess you guys haven't heard of that. But I've seen a lot of that myself.
I've heard of it, too.
Yeah, have you? And you may see it in your own lives with people you all know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's mostly guys in our age range too, like from the mid-20s to mid-30s. That kind of where you're not married yet, maybe still in your parents' basement or something. So
I'll read this one to you. Yeah, no, you're right. I'll read this one to you. This is part of the forum, and this is what somebody wrote. And just putting it out there, it's definitely food for thought, just something to think about. This is what this person wrote. It says, here's what is in store for men if they get married to the wrong woman. Nowadays, one day after a fight with your wife, she decides to get even and scratches her arm with her fingernails and calls the cops. When they arrive, she is crying and shows the cop what her evil husband did to her. Look, I'm bleeding, she says. Off to jail you go. By law, the guy has to go to jail. They must separate you two. Upon your release, you are told you cannot go back to your home. Your wife is living there now. So what am I supposed to do? That's my home. I built the darn thing. Well, then you get a blank stare from the police chief. You go to your bank for money for a hotel, but it's too late. Your wife cleaned out your bank account. So you're sleeping in your car and you're broke. Now comes divorce court. Hooray! You lose custody of your kids and owe $1,200 per month in child support now. You're forced to sell your home that you built. You're forced to cash in all your insurance policies and investments and give her half. Then you somehow get stuck with all the legal bills. The only thing my neighbor got was a twin bed in his toolbox. She got everything else. You miss your child support payments because you get fired from your job, and then the cops come find you and arrest you. Boom. There it is. That's harsh stuff. Thoughts?
I know somebody that happened to. Won't mention any names, but same thing. Whether you did it or not, they haul you off. I mean, I've seen it. Not me personally, just I know of a person it happened to.
Well, I just happen to have another person on the line, and we're going to keep it going as long as it sounds smooth, but it's a 208. Are you there, too?
Yeah, hi, KJ.
Hey, man, welcome to the show. I think this should be interesting. I'll let any one of you guys talk about that if you want to, what I just read. By the way, who are you?
This is John Doe from DiggerOnWith15.com.
Oh, man.
Hey.
Howdy.
Hey, John.
What's up, John?
Hey, John.
Well, thanks for calling, man. It's really nice to talk to you. Of course, I got Timmy on the line. I got Nicholson1968. What do you think about what I just read? Do you have any thoughts at all? Does it resonate at all with you? Anything?
I didn't even catch what you were saying there.
Oh, fair enough. That's all right. Well, quickly, let me ask the other two guys. Anything, guys?
Yeah, I'll chime in. One thing that's interesting, if you backtrack the moral degradation of our country, you can kind of see a plot that has unfolded. And it's like that slippery slope. So it's kind of like a sweater with a thread. If you pull that thread long enough, eventually the sweater comes off and it comes undone. Feminism was one of the movements in the counterculture, and it was all based on equality. So women needed to have the right to be equal to men, and that was, in my opinion, a device of the devil to get the woman out of the home, and that was, I think, one of the biggest beginnings of breaking up the family unit. And so from that point, when you follow that line, it's not to say that, most women are feminists these days, but everyone has this sense that we're equal. And as long as we have different parts and we're functioning different ways, we're not equal. And so that's a big misconception that a lot of people are grounded as their foundation of understanding. And so when you move forward from that, when you move forward from that, I live in Texas, and in Texas, the women and mothers have extra rights. And so just like you see in the two-party system, the pendulum swings real far one way, and then it'll swing real far the other way. And in the process, the middle starts to move. And so what normally was conservative can eventually be eroded away to where you're obviously moving in a progressive direction, but without even knowing it, because it unfolds over such a long period of time.
Oh, yeah.
I came across a YouTube video and a guy, and I don't remember the guy's name or the video, but the basis of his video was, it was all about this pride of being one of these self-sufficient males that doesn't need a female. And it's not about sexuality, because they're like, well, we're not gay, but we don't care if we have a woman or if we get married. And it was basically everything you described from reading that forum post. And so it was just real weird that they actually have a name for themselves, and there's a whole, there's a movement going where men just want to be men, and then we can be manly men without having the need of a woman, and it's almost the opposite of feminism. And
well,
so
you're right. It's all that. And nobody wins. even now it's like then there's extremes for the ladies. Like, what do they got left to choose from? They either have like an extreme alpha male who will probably abuse them, or they have the extreme beta male who's going to try to save them or be their white knight and cry a lot and stuff like that. I'm just saying, so it's unfortunate, man. But hey, anyway, Timmy, I better let you go, and I got to move on. We're starting to get a lot more calls again, man. But I do appreciate the call.
All right. Hey, can I ask one question for Nicholson?
Sure.
Of course.
Okay, I'll try and hustle. I mentioned that Constantine TV show that they had on, and I know he made the video about the black goo. I refer to it as black blood. There's some occult bands that have referred to bleeding black and stuff like that, and it's like a pride of being evil. But there's a Die Anterwood, if I even said that right. It's a band on Vigilant Christian website. He had up for a short time. It was like a special promo. I looked for it. I couldn't find it anywhere except for on his website, and it showed the girl doing the "I Think You Freaky" song. And in there, she's dressed up like a white fallen angel with the black eyes, and she rips out a heart, and she's got the heart, and it's black, and it's bleeding black, and I think she eats it. And then in the show Constantine, the same thing last week. There was a fallen angel. They rip out the heart, and it's black. And I was wondering what Nicholson had to say about the black blood. I haven't seen his video yet, but it's one of my next up to watch, and I just wanted to leave it with that. So I'll hang up and listen on the computer.
Okay, Timmy, hey, man, good question, and thanks. And before you go, I'll just say this quickly, and we'll let Nicholson address that one. But it's just like anything else to me. I think it's, that black goo, the black blood, it's like other symbols. It means multiple things, because I think Nicholson has a different take on it as well, but I could see that both could be right. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, man, take care, Timmy, and I'll talk to you later, okay?
All right, thanks a lot, man.
All right, man, go ahead. Hey, Nicholson, so go ahead, and I still have the 208 waiting. Thanks for waiting patiently. We'll let Nicholson answer that one, and then we'll jump into it with you. Go ahead.
Well, the first thing of the black goo, you're right on, and people need to understand this is a lot of things mean double meanings. Doesn't mean one's right or one's wrong. It actually has double meanings. The black goo is symbolism. But what I found at first when I started investigating this, I thought, because I had a lot of people. I'm also on a website that I get stuff from other countries. YouTube limits me, so I get stuff sent to me from other countries. So the black goo and all of that, and the web, so I started investigating, kind of looked into it. But then you'll see in my video, it's very important. What you're showing is a simple droid. You remember the droid DNA commercial where the guy's sitting in the chair and they're plugging the thing into his forearm and into his forehead, and it says at the end of the video, it's not an upgrade to your phone, it's an upgrade to yourself. It's very important what they show in that video is when they plug in the phone to his chest, notice they show the DNA, and there's black stuff attaching to the DNA. Okay? Then after that, here's another thing that's important. After that, the phone pops up, and the time on the phone is 2:14. So people miss the 2:14. I've never seen anybody decode it this way, but 2:14. Now think about 2:14. It's February 14th, Valentine's Day, your heart. That's what they're after, and that's what I'm saying. The temple of God is human, mankind. So
yeah, that's good.
Okay, so anyway, where I went with it is what everybody can see. Here's the thing. When you talk about movies, music, and music videos, people can debunk that. They can say, well, that's just a movie or it's just a music video. But in my video, when you go see Black Gold Project, I will show you parts of the scientific community. I bet people didn't even know this. Do you know that Microsoft has a programmable matter division? No, people don't know that. Yep, you can look it up. I've got the research on it and the videos of people that are talking about they have synthetic programmable matter cells that can reproduce. So they're cells that are mixed organic and tech all in one. It's happening, people. It's already here. So that means they're writing code. They're writing DNA code with technology right now. So that means they can, with 3D, you just have to see my video, 3D printers loaded with programmable matter that can be given instructions. Think about how deep that is. It's not science fiction anymore. So
yep, that's wild, man. Well, thanks for addressing that. That's interesting stuff. And my caller waiting on the line, man. Thanks for your patience. And who are we talking to?
It's still John.
John, hey, man. Thanks for waiting. I forgot. It's been so long. What's on your mind?
Oh, I just kind of want to touch bases on, about communications and that, and this kind of falls in line with what Nicholson was talking about too. I just was reading in the news. I'm sure you heard about what Google's trying to do with the biometrics. They don't want to use passwords anymore. They want to do retinal scans or fingerprints.
Yeah, I've been watching. I've done a few videos on some of that stuff as well, like the coming technology. And yeah, I like to keep an eye on Google. Go ahead and tell us about it. Go ahead.
Well, the one thing I've come to the conclusion of, there's going to be a point in time where you're either going to have to get involved in the system to remain on the internet, use your cell phone, and all that kind of stuff. So I've been looking into, the old analog technology. And I've just been kind of telling people, it would not hurt to study how to use ham radios and stuff like that for communications.
Wow, that's a great idea, man. Wow, yeah. Nicholson, what do you think about that?
It's a great idea. And while you've got... This is John Doe, Deuteronomy 13, right?
Yes.
I want to thank you. Thank you very much for posting. KJ, he posts a lot of my videos, a lot of things. So I just, first of all, want to say thank you. I've never talked to him personally.
Oh, really? Cool, man.
Yeah, he's a very good follower of mine, subscriber. Thank you very much. So, and he's ahead of the curve. He's got a lot of the technology stuff. He's not afraid to touch about things biblically that is not being taught in the churches. So,
well, the most important question is, does he have any good recipes?
No, they're not joyfully organic, but they're good.
All right, then. No, but that's cool. I'm really glad that. See, that's what it's all about, man. That's cool. Go ahead. Yep.
But anyway, what I found out is people think, they hear the word ham radio, and I don't have any idea how that works. It's actually very simple to learn how to do it. You can watch videos on YouTube, and you can buy a ham radio on Amazon, a Baofeng, for $35.
Dang.
Yeah, that's good.
And most people don't realize that.
That's great, man. I think that's a great idea, and I know kind of where you're going with that because, we have to think about these things. We see the stuff's coming. Something's coming down. Did you guys hear about in Russia? They actually wanted to put the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings on some huge building over there. Did you guys hear about this?
I did hear about that. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm putting it in one of my compilation things I'm doing right now with stuff, but fascinating. So anyway, they're saying the church made them stop it, so they're not going to do it now. But just the whole idea that story exists just goes to show you, it's like they're almost claiming victory, So some form of collapse is coming. If people have to be here, if God's kids, some of them have to stay through all of whatever may come, you're right. Like people are going to have to get serious about stuff like that, other forms of communication and things, Yep. Either way, man.
I believe that, it will not be much longer till Christians and truthers will be forced to go underground.
You know what? I can't argue against that. I don't know. Man, I definitely see the writing on the wall. You know me. If anybody does, that's what I put out there, and I just put out what I see, and I don't even like to think about it sometimes. I know it sounds kind of weird. It's a paradox because if I personally sit there and take it all in myself, it's just like, wow, man. It even blows me away sometimes. So I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just saying the information in general, even from my friends on YouTube, that if I put all their stuff together and watch too many hours of this stuff in a row, it's just like I can't do it. I can't do it. None of us should do that. We got to take this stuff in doses,
Yep.
Exactly.
Anyway, man, well, hey, thanks for the depressing call, and I'm just kidding. No, man, hey, thank you for the call. It was nice talking to you. Do you have anything else you wanted to...
Just one more point I wanted to make, about the analog communication ham radio. A lot of people do not realize is that is not part of the system. It's all private. Like the repeater towers that are used can transmit up to 100 miles. And they're all privately owned, and most of them don't even use power off the grid. It's solar-powered, battery-powered. So it'll always be open. That's what they used during Hurricane Katrina.
Interesting, man. Thank you very much. That's good information.
Yep.
Thanks, John.
All right, man. Well, hey, take care, John. We'll talk to you later. And I got another caller at 940 waiting on the line. Are you still there?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
It's Erin Page.
Hey, Erin. Hey, it's great to talk to you. How you doing? Nicholson's on the line with us. You know Nicholson?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know him, obviously, but I've listened to him and I watch his videos. So that's why I called, really, because a while back, I guess I had, I think it was you, KJ, that did a video about, like Damien Eccles or something and all the weird stuff with him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I started researching it, and then I came across this guy named Genesis T. Orridge. Have you guys ever heard of him?
No.
I have not.
Okay. So the reason I thought of you, Nicholson, is because this guy's like into pandrogyny.
Pandrogyny. I've never heard of that.
P-A-N androgyny. It's where he had a wife named like Lady J or something, and I guess she passed away, but it's where I still have not been able to find the details of it, but you relocate your organs that are used for gender, and basically you reassign them to where you look like your partner. Do you see what I mean? Like, even in like facial features, like he still dresses like a woman, but he dresses like her and tries to look like her. Like he had surgery to look like her.
And that is just so many levels of messed up.
But he's a Satanist. Like, that was the thing. Is like, he's a Satanist from like, I mean, supposedly this guy's been around forever, and I don't know how he stayed under the grid, because there's like two separate things I've found out. Like, he was married before her, and the police raided, this is about 25, 30 years ago, the police raided their house and found a videotape that they say had a ritual murder on it. So a lawyer just recommended that they split up. So they split up. Yeah. So then in 1992, in the United Kingdom, he almost got put on trial for ritual sexual abuse, but somehow got out of that as well.
See, that's just like, that's a reprobate mind for you. That's all levels of perversion. That's when you've gone so dark that it's just like, God's like, okay, cool, go for it, man. If you want to do that, if you want to go that far, I'm just going to let you go. And then you get that, Right.
But he's so like, he's on this level of where, he is a good PR person, or he is a good PR person, because he changes things. Like, he's a musician, but the way they represent him, I can see where there's so many people confused, because it'll say he's into industrial paganism. What's industrial? Nope. Okay, there is no such a thing. But you see what I'm saying? Like, you can imagine the kind of people in the age group that would be attracted to industrial paganism, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that stuff happens. There's a guy, there's a band called the Lost Prophets, and recently, and they were pretty popular, they're kind of a punkish type band, but recently the lead guy, a lot of bad things happened with him, but he was, same thing, they had all this satanic imagery and all this. Turns out he was into kids stuff and all that stuff, and it all came out, and he maybe even committed suicide, either that or he's in prison. Something really bad happened to all those guys, but that's the thing. That's why I never buy anybody saying, oh, we just wear this imagery to spook people or whatever. Even if somebody genuinely thought that at first, those symbols and all that will bring that stuff around,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Anyway.
So,
Well, cool. What else? What else, Aaron? How else? What else is on your mind?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Everything.
We can cover that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So tell me everything. What do I do about it? No, the Genesis T. Orridge guy, it's just so hard. You ever run into those obstacles where you want to research somebody and put something out, maybe that they just have really good, their trails are covered?
Well, I'm not sure. You mean, so have I ever wanted to research something, but their trails are too covered?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is like, I'm trying to research this guy, and put something out about him maybe, but there's only like just the things I told you about, I can't get any further than that.
Oh,
so
I see.
Verify. I can't verify the facts of the arrest or anything.
Then just leave it alone. That's what I do with stuff like that. Yeah, I just walk away and go, wait for something else,
Yes, definitely. So I just told Nicholson about him. So maybe, I don't know. That's not really, I guess his next thing could be transhumanist androgyny. So I don't know. Maybe check into that. But the show is really great. Everything's going really well. I've been listening. You have a lot of great callers, and just always, I saw that Round Saturn's Eyes doing something too now, and all you guys are just rocking.
Well, thanks. It's good. I'm glad everyone's getting out there and getting involved and getting a voice out there and stuff, and that's, it's good. But Aaron, either way, well, hey, thanks for the call. I got another few callers coming in, but it's nice
Aaron.
Talking to you. Yeah, and thanks for always being so supportive on YouTube.
No problem. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so I have a 562. Are you still there?
That's my mother.
Yeah, I'm right here.
How
you doing, guys?
Hey, good.
I'm Victor Sandoval.
Oh, no way. Victor, hey, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, KJ? What's up, Nicholson? I followed both of you, a lot. So
Yeah,
I know. I always see you on there, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. He makes a lot of comments on my video. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you guys, I don't even know what to say right now. I feel like I'm talking to some stars right now.
Ah, shucks. Get out of here. Hey, actually, I wanted to ask you, because I'm not sure if it was you, Victor, but one of the guys, it may have been you, did you send me a video a while back of, a weird little gnome thing running through a kitchen? Was that you?
I think so.
Okay, because I still, and this is a while back, man, but it's one of those things I put away in a little folder. It's just something you shared on Google. I'm pretty sure that was you, but I'm still looking at that and thinking of doing something. Because, I don't know, folks out there listening, you may have seen these things before, Nicholson, you may have, but, some of you may know, if you've been around YouTube conspiracy stuff for a while, that there's always these random videos coming out of South American countries or Mexico that are paranormal, like gnomes and monsters and ghosts and aliens. Have you guys seen some of these things?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many. And
I've seen well, the reason that I got into like your guys' videos and all that was I've had a couple experiences that happened to me at my mom's house when I was living with her. Well, one day we had got this little dog, me and my lady at the time, and she spent the night over. I was renting a room for my mom, and I woke up at 3 a.m. I was from being asleep. I just woke up, and then I felt nervous, something was in there. So I tried to wake up my lady, hey, I was trying to make an excuse. I was is it just me? Or, and she's like, I don't want to open my eyes. I feel something weird in here. And when she said that, it kind of hit me, okay. So I look at the dog that we had in there, and I seen her looking at the corner of the bed. And she would look at me, and then she kept looking over there. So then I seen something, but, it's late at night, sometimes you think you see something, but, it's, then before you know it's nothing or whatever. So I kind of laid back down thinking, well, maybe it's nothing. But it kept bothering me. So I sat up on the bed, and then I started getting, a little closer to the edge of the bed, and before I know it, this little guy, this little guy comes out with his eyes all white.
Whoa.
With his he had hair down to almost to his eyes, but his eyes were all white, and he had really long arms. And he started walking towards me. Man, I've always told my friends, man, if I ever see a ghost, I'll start running, or I think you'll say I'll talk smack to it or whatever.
Yeah.
I froze.
I imagine.
I would have done more than froze. I would have said, man, there's a little bit of pee coming out.
I froze, and I kept staring at it, and the more I kept staring at it, the faster it was walking towards me, and it was smiling. So I turned on the light, and it ran under the bed. The dog jumped off the bed and followed it under the bed. I had to drink a whole bottle of Nyquil just to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Wow.
After that.
Man, you're talking to the right... Yeah, you're talking to the right guy, man. This is stuff that I experienced, not that, but some other things when I was little. I've always liked those stories from people, even as friends growing up. I've always been the guy that asks them those questions. So, and I know, I just throughout the years, you can tell you can kind of believe. Some people might get away with some stuff here and there, but you just feel it. And you know it, man. It's real. It's out there. And sometimes we get glimpses. That's a creepy story, man. Nicholson, what do you think about that?
I believe it. I used to not believe, but there's another realm that is slowly, I know we say this, the veil's been lifted up. A little more of that realm's coming into this realm and vice versa. And it's getting deeper and deeper. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole nother realm. You know, the only thing that exists in both realms, you got to think about this. In the spirit realm and the physical realm, the only thing that travels through both is sound. Think about it. You know what I mean? It's because that's why that's why the Satan is the prince of the air. That's why the Illuminati use music industry. It's sound. Yeah.
Well, you can even see that in Verizon. They use the red, black, and white color coding. They got the V, of course, and then they've got the little radio signals shooting out the lightning bolts out into the airwaves. So yeah, it's totally, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
And then I had a second experience in the same room where I used to have this other job where I used to go in at 3 a.m. and just come out like at 11 a.m.
Oh, I've done some of those.
Yeah, so then I fall asleep when I'd get home, and it was around 2:00, so I took a quick nap, and the same dog that we had was one day barking, and it was on my chest, and it kept barking nonstop. So I kind of wake up, and I was like, what the hell? You can't let me go to sleep? I can't sleep just a little bit. So I'm not thinking like that, and I seen her face, and she was looking to the left of me, and I was like, okay. So I kind of turned slowly, and I seen this shadow of a human. You couldn't see its face, you couldn't see nothing. It was just the form of a man, but just a dark shadow. It was just dark. And then when I looked at it, I froze again. When I said I wasn't gonna freeze anymore, but I ended up freezing. So I just kind of was looking at it stunned, and it just turned into a ball, and it disappeared.
Oh, wow.
And I ran out of the room.
Wow. Yeah, I did a video way back called Proof Dimensions Are Slipping, ? I think it's something like that. It's from over 2 years ago. It's still out there, and it was looking at stuff like that, the shadow people, questioning if they're real or if they were just catching a glimpse through the dimension. And the footage I was able to get back then was all really interesting stuff, and as you were describing it, I was picturing all that, and even people's stories of the black energy changing shape and stuff. Man, that's you've seen some things. I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
So I told that to my mom, and I explained it to her. So she took me to this lady. This was a couple of years ago, and then she said, "Well, maybe." In our family, they believe in all witchcraft and all that. So they don't do it, but they believe in it. So she was like, well, maybe we need to take you to somebody to take off all those bad vibes from you, So I go to this one lady that, she takes me to, and she sits down and she starts reading my hands. And I'm like, this lady, they're just trying to make money. They don't really know anything. So she starts telling me oh yeah, you without me ever talking to her or anything, or my mom, it was our first time going there. She starts telling me, oh yeah, there's spirits following you, huh? And they bother you? And I'm looking at her what the hell is going on? And she's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna give you these things to do. So she gave me some oil that I'm supposed to put on my head, and that'll cleanse me after I take a shower or whatever. But I did it. It helped out a little bit, but then I noticed it started getting worse after that. For a little bit it was okay, but then my night terrors were getting real bad.
Yeah, man.
Where I was getting them every day, every single day.
See, isn't that interesting? Yeah, a portal for sure.
Yeah.
So one day I'm sitting in my couch, and it was like 6:00 in the afternoon. It wasn't even nighttime. And on my left side, I'm blind from my left eye. I got hit in the eye with a BB gun when I was 15 years old.
Wow, no way, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Nah, it's cool. My family calls me BB. I got used to it already. And then every Christmas I get to watch that movie, that little kid?
Oh, yeah, Red Ryder?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the movie I watch every Christmas like 10 times.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
I was sitting in my living room, and I was noticing it with my left eye. I was watching a shadow, and I'm blind. Not like completely blind, but I lost like, I'd say 60% of my vision.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept seeing a shadow with my left eye, and that was rare. Like, so I was like, okay. So I kept looking to my left, and there was nothing. So I stayed quiet, and I looked towards the kitchen, and then a cup just flew by itself.
Yikes.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go with this lady anymore. Now they're throwing cups at me. See, before I was just seeing things. Now they're gonna start attacking me. No, I'm not gonna.
Well, see, that's a good lesson you learned, man. I mean, I've mentioned on one of the shows in the past, but way back, that I had a friend had a girlfriend that was a witch, and this is years ago. I was a kid, but my first apartment, but she did a blessing, quote unquote, on it, and same thing. Like for 6 months, I went through the most severe depression I've ever had in my life, and I've never felt like that since. I mean, it was crazy, and she had put this little doll above my door and nailed it above my door. And I remember just walking around in circles. I bought that book Dianetics from, and this is before I got more on my Christian path. I was in between. I was like a teen, 19, 20 or whatever. But I bought that book Dianetics from L. Ron Hubbard, and you try to find answers in there, and there was some truth in there for sure, But just like anything else, we know truth originated with God, with Christ, and then it's all been taken and, watered down and filtered since then. But went through all that stuff trying to find answers. I couldn't figure out why I was so depressed and just felt like crap. And then I yanked that doll down one day and just threw it away. I was just cleaning stuff up, and it literally cleared everything up for me. I felt different the next day. And I just realized it was my first lesson in spiritual warfare, even before I was looking into it. I was like, like I had brought something into my home.
Yeah. And like for me, it got worse. And so that's how I started believing in God. After that, like one night, I was having a really bad night terror where I felt like there was like these 10 demons around me at night. So I'm like half awake, like, paralyzed. Somebody's like screaming in my left ear really loud, and I'm seeing these like demons making faces at me, and they're all around me. And I just looked, and I was like, God, if you exist, please help me. I need you right now. So when I looked at the demons, I actually gave up. So I got on my knees, and I just said, in the name of Jesus Christ, please leave. And then when I said that, as soon as I said that, one of them screamed, no, and then it disappeared.
Wow.
So, and then I woke up. See, I had never woken up from a night terror. Like, I would always have to really fall back to sleep or whatever as I'm paralyzed. But in that instant, when I said Jesus Christ, I woke up, and it shocked me. And I said, you know what? That's it. I'm throwing everything away that lady gave me. All those oils, all the stuff she gave me to put in this, I'm throwing it away. And that's it. I'm giving my life to Christ. And from there on, that's all I've been doing.
Good for you, man. And that's a good testimony too. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, well, and thanks to you guys. Like, I watch all your guys' videos too. Like, that helps out, a lot too. So
thanks, man. I know that means a lot to Nicholson as well. I mean, yeah. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Victor.
Yeah, man. Well, Victor, yeah, it's good. It was good talking to you, man. I appreciate you calling in. That's some powerful stuff, and I love that subject just because I always look at stuff like this. If I'm going to be a fisher of people, I have to, that stuff appeals to people, paranormal and supernatural. You know what I mean? That appeals to people. Unfortunately, that it takes that sometimes to bring people into the fold. Yep. But I've always understood that and appreciated that. That's why I like stories like that. It's also great testimonies. Also goes to show the power of Jesus, the power of his name, and, you know, it's good stuff, man, all around. So thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, buddy. Well, take care, man. We'll see you on YouTube. Okay, so I got somebody else on the line here. It's a 917, been patiently waiting. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. How about you?
Hey, doing good. And who are you?
Trevor.
Hey, Trevor, and what's on your mind?
You know, I just want to say you do good work, you know, good videos, you guys. You know, I've been watching this stuff for like a long time, you know.
Well, thanks. Do you know Nicholson1968?
Yeah, I've heard of him. I've been watching since like the days, you know, back like at least 10 years now. So, you know, I know all the dudes from back in the day and stuff, you know.
Oh, cool, man. Cool.
Don't really comment too much, but, you know.
That's all right. Well,
that's okay.
You know, you guys got some things right, but I don't think you know, you're not really hitting the needle on the head yet. You know what I'm saying?
Well, tell us how.
Well, like, you know, like you gotta look more towards like the sun, the moon. You know, like Saturn, Saturday. You know, it goes back a long time, all that stuff, man. It's not like, you know, they've been worshiping Saturn like for the last 20 years. They've been worshiping Saturn since, you know, a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, this is news to me. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think I've touched on that subject. Nicholson has as well, and you're right. I mean, I think, in all fairness, I think that we kind of cover all those angles. I don't think you could judge me or Nicholson by just one video. You know, we cover a lot of different subjects, but I definitely know what you mean, and that's what it's all about. I mean, ultimately, it's revealing all kinds of things. So, you know, all the way back to Babylon, the Assyrians. You know.
The reason I do what I do, Trevor, is. I'm with you on that. I mean, it goes back to Saturn. The North Pole of Saturn is a cube shape. But the reason I do my videos the way I do my videos is I bring the young generation in with the stuff that's out now, and I have to show it, you know, because here's the thing. There's nothing new under the sun. It's just repackaged in a different way. So I have to show it how they're worshiping Saturn nowadays, right? You know, but anyway.
Yeah, but go ahead, man. Trevor, what else is on your mind, man? I mean, what part of all this kind of research fascinates you the most?
Well, you know, like I look at other things, like, you know, I learned a lot, and then like I'll look at things like the moon, the eclipse, things like deja vus, dreams that could tell you the future. You know what I'm saying? Like different things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
I do.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, someone really needs to hit them subjects up, like dreams and deja vus and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Trevor. I think there's a lot more to the stars, the moons, what's hanging up there, because man can't tamper with it. I think time and thing has been tampered with, times and dates, and that's even prophecy. So the only thing that you can't really mess with is the stars, the moon, the sun. So it's, you know, I think the elites kind of know a little bit more about, you know, the stars and stuff like that. You know, so I agree with you on that.
Yeah, man. So there we have it.
And things like, you know, like I don't think we in the end times, man. Like we just in the change, and I think things are going to change for the better. Like once everyone gets all the knowledge of what's what, and like the metaphors, like everything, like from like God, Satan, story of Adam and Eve, the story of Job. You know, God and Satan, they're homies, they're homeboys. You know, if you really look at the metaphors of the story, and
well,
like, you look at some stuff and you start breaking it down, these are the real metaphors.
Well, I mean, on a deeper level, you know, you can, of course, say God made the devil, and I've heard all those arguments, and you see all those things, and we can spin ourselves into circles, and trust me, I have. You know, I've got that kind of mind, and throughout the years, I've been doing this 8 years now, so throughout the years I've been through all those different rabbit holes, and I've mentioned this in the past, but it all brought me back to where I'm at now, which is the belief in Jesus and the belief in God the Creator, because there are other, I believe, lesser gods and the devil and all that good stuff, or not good stuff, but bad stuff. But that's where I'm at, and that's just what all my information and everything I see leads me to believe, that these are all signs of what's coming and what's to happen. But at the same time, I'm no preacher and I'm not very evangelical, and I'd never started my channel saying, "Hey, everybody, this is a Christian channel." I never did that. I never said I'm a preacher or anything. That's not what I do. But I do what I do because I believe that's what I was made to do for God, And then my relationship with Jesus is what keeps me sane, believe it or not. It sounds crazy to people that don't believe, but so that's where I'm at with stuff, man. So really, like I guess what it comes down to is, I just tell people, I show them what I can, I tell them what I believe, and then I just say best of luck, because I can't force anybody to believe the way I do,
And what I do on my channel is, you can believe whatever you want. I'm just trying to show you what the enemy is after and what the enemy is attacking. So, for me, like I said, when I started my channel, I went looking for truth wherever that led me. If it led me to Buddha, if it led me to whatever. So when I started studying the rulers of this world and the elite and what they're doing, it led back to Jesus Christ. What he did, they don't want you to know. They want you to think it's a metaphor. They want you to think it ain't real, because in the future that knowledge will fade away and you will try to live forever another way. Transhumanism. That's the final game. Period.
Yeah, and it's not fun to think about end-time stuff, I know, but trust me, I deal with it all the time, because I'm happy with my life, I'm content, I'm at peace, but then on the other hand, I can't help but see this stuff that's coming. So, man, I hold back so much, too, I really do, because I just don't want to be like all doom and stuff with people. I could be, believe me, but all I'm saying, man, is just be ready, and your heart is telling you, anybody out there listening, something big's out there, something big's coming. We're living in crazy times. Crazy stuff's happening more and more. What crazy stuff? Look at my channel. Check out Nicholson. Check out all of the people that we watch. I mean, that's what we're here doing, is showing you guys that, it's coming. Something big's coming, and, why is it they hate Jesus so much, this system? Why is it that they hate God? Why are they taking God out of everything? You got to start asking yourself these questions. Why is it always Jesus that they're constantly persecuting or mocking,
Right. That was the thing. I mean, you got to look at, let's just take America. I mean, if we're built on a Christian foundation, and they always argue the church and the state thing, but look at all the municipal buildings in this country. They have Roman and Greek gods on it. Everything on your dollar bill is Egyptian pyramid, in Washington, D.C., the monument, Washington, is Egyptian. So think about those two things. What screams out Antichrist? Egypt and Roman. Those, Moses went into Egypt and said, "Free my people." I mean, so, you got to really look and quit living in dream world and wrapping yourself up in, mom's apple pie and, God bless America. Because here's the thing. When you ask a Freemason who God is, and when you ask somebody else like a Muslim or different, God's a general term to them. You see what I'm saying?
Well, speaking of that, I'm dropping a video tomorrow I made out of frustration with Freemasons. I'm being real here, and it's from a great book, and it's all from a guy that was a 33rd degree Mason, and it's all about what really takes place. So yeah, you're right on there, Nicholson, and I just made it because I'm tired of Masons writing me on my other videos. No, you're a tard. You don't know what you're talking about, and all this. And it's like, okay, now I'm going to, go get the book yourself, all right? But anyway, so that's another topic. So yeah, Trevor, I know we're just kind of bouncing around here, but it's what we do. Any of this helping at all, or what are your thoughts?
No, I'm just, still trying to figure it out myself, and just...
And that's okay, man.
We all are.
It definitely, something went down over there. Like, they were ahead of their time over there with the pyramids and stuff. Like, who knows how they made those things.
And you know what, man? And don't get me wrong, none of us are trying to steal your peace. I mean, like I said, I live it day by day. I don't walk around thinking, oh, the sky is falling, it's all over, You don't want to do that. That's why I don't do the Alex Jones thing. He woke me up years ago. Occasionally I listen, but, New World Order, we're going to destroy. I can't. That just freaks me out, man, So just like anybody else, I just try to keep a balance. I know that all this stuff's being revealed, not just to me, but to a lot of us through the Holy Spirit, and all kinds of things are coming out. People having dreams, visions, you name it. It's all happening. So the line's being drawn. The sides are showing their faces, and it's all coming up. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be doom and gloom and fear. It should be beauty, because this is just a chapter in a book, man. We are going to remember ourselves, how we are here. I believe our personalities will still remember each other, and it'll be a very interesting next chapter when we leave here. But it's all about getting out of here, and I believe it takes Jesus Christ to do that. I believe that that's the way to get away from all the horrible things that are coming. That's my belief, and I hope that helps somebody out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got some, truths, the way he lived and stuff, He has some knowledge and stuff,
And just follow your path, man. Just keep going, because that's why I can't preach at you, because I went through all kinds of phases myself,
Yep. Me neither. I don't want to preach at you. That's what my channel is about. Is just I do preach that Christ. That's the way I believe is He's the only way out of this because of what the enemy is attacking. And anybody that plays a good chess game or anything, you've got the art of war. I mean, art of war is the first rule. Know your enemy. So whatever your enemy's doing, that's pretty important, because, if they're not attacking New Agers and trying to take New Age out of the capital, you just got to look where the enemy is and what the enemy is attacking. Then you know the truth. That's my number one rule is find out what your enemy is after. That's where right now the truth is, because they're not going to attack a lie because they don't, whoopee-doo. A lot.
Yeah. I got to say, man, Oprah couldn't have said it better, okay? I'm just kidding, man. Yeah. Hey, but anyway, Trevor, man, I got another person coming into the phone call, man. But it was nice talking with you, and thank you for calling too. I hope that some of this helps.
Good luck.
Yeah.
All right, man. Take care. See you later. Okay, so I've got an 818. I recognize that area code. Is this someone I know? Hi.
Hello.
Hey, who's this?
My name's Francisco.
Francisco, hey, what's up? This is KJ and Nicholson1968. How you doing this evening?
Great. How about you?
Wonderful. What's on your mind, man? Thanks for calling.
First I wanted to ask you guys, first I want to say you guys are doing a great job, and I'm actually surprised I was able to get you guys all.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I'd like to ask probably just a quick question about, you guys know about how you guys think it's all going to go about, like, when all this, when the Antichrist is going to show himself and all that.
Well, man, here's the thing, and this is something that I think Jonathan Kleck just made a video about it, and I need to get my friend Zachary Hubbard back on here to talk about it too. But the Hoover Dam is something you got to keep an eye on.
Yep.
And now they got the San Andreas movie coming out, and I noticed in the trailer that they're busting it open. And now Jonathan Kleck's I believe he was given real wisdom through the Holy Spirit to reveal this stuff, but that's going to be a major target of things. So, I see things like that. I see the things that I personally see, and I show you guys. There's a lot of things I see that I don't show you guys because I think you'll think I'm cuckoo, because maybe I go too far. Yep, but I'm just telling you. You probably do too, but it's like, man, it's just like alarm bells sometimes. And it's so weird for me because I'm such a chill person. I sometimes feel like I should be screaming, everybody, call on Jesus now. Like I try to in my own way. I just, you know what I mean? But that's really how I feel inside, is that just get that done, okay? Like we're there, and hey, God, it may not happen for another 10, 20, 30, 40. I don't know, because God can do what God wants to do. You know what I mean? I just don't know. That's why I don't worry about these things. How's it going to go down? I'm looking at blackouts. I'm looking at riots. All this. I'm looking at right now with Ferguson, and then of course that launched off to New York, and now that's launched off to riots all over the place. Yep. So I'm seeing all these things slowly rise. Now is the time for prayer, man. I think. Go ahead.
You know, order out of chaos. I mean, so if you look at the New World order out of chaos, it's the same old thing. We create the problem, then we swoop in, give you the solution, you know, problem, reaction, solution. That's probably how it's going to go down, you know, and it is, you know.
Well, yeah, and then there's the whole idea with the nukes, of course. There's a lot of talk with tsunamis, you know, with Russian subs knocking off the East Coast, and then the tsunamis in New York City, and so all that stuff's on the money as well. Jonathan Kleck has shown a lot of that stuff, and other people have seen things there too. I've done videos on New York. I've had people write to me about visions and dreams for years now about that. So, you know, we're looking at all this stuff, and it's kind of like, and I like the Groxt. I like a lot of his stuff too, and you know, just like anything else, we take take bits and pieces here, but I do connect with him on this, that I think that once whatever it is going to go down, like it's going to be just like a lot of things are going down. You know, it's just going to be boom, like chaos and all over the place. So that's why it's just so important for us to, you know, not worry, of course. It's now's the time just to draw closer to God, really, you know, and then to lean on Jesus and just go there and pray to make it through okay, I guess. I don't know. You know, I wish I had an easy answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, God knows what we're battling. See, that's the thing, is he knows what we're battling. That's why it says in Ephesians, you know, what we're battling is, you know, not just flesh and blood, but, you know, principalities in other realms and things like that. So, I mean, he knows. I mean, so.
Well, here's one for you, actually. I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to say this, man. I did actually talk to a lady friend of mine this week, and now I'm glad she told me this. It was an analogy, because we were talking about that. She's scared of all this stuff, too, you know, and then she was like, well, the one thing that gives me peace is the story of Noah. And I'm like, well, how's that? And she's talking about, well, think about it. Like, you know, the whole metaphor, the whole idea of Noah, that, you know, that those were God's people, right? And the storm came and destroyed everything else, killed all these other people, but God's people were safe. You know, he took care of them through the storm, you know. And she goes, and that's the way I look at whatever's coming now. And I was like, man, that's a great way to look at it, you know. I mean, I like that. It's a simple metaphor, but it's peaceful. You know, it gives you peace, and that's the way I look at it too. Is no matter what comes, we're going to be okay. You know, now what does that mean? What does it look like? I don't know. It's going to be different for each individual. I don't know who's going to be here, who's not, what level you're going to have to be on. I don't know if we're going to have to be warriors. Are we going to have to fight? You know, I don't know. You know, but I'll be ready for whatever it is.
Noah, the first prepper.
Yeah, right.
He prepped.
Go ahead, man.
All right, there's one more question. Like, do you think that the false Christ is going to show up after we're persecuted, or are you going to come before that?
After the what, Francisco? I'm sorry.
Like, you know how they're saying all this RFID chip and all that, and then those that don't have it, they'll be persecuted for their faith and their beliefs and all that. Do you think that we'll die before the Antichrist shows up, or he'll be here when he'll persecute us himself?
Wow. See, man, now that all goes back to the one, and I've talked about this in the past because I never really cover the rapture because I've thought about it, I've prayed about it, and I'm not kidding, man. I just see blank walls when I start asking those questions about that subject. I don't get anything on that, you know, and I pray all the time. I'm always talking to God. Even before my radio show, I'll get down on my knees literally and pray, you know. I mean, that's just the relationship I have there, and I know what it's like whenever I'm kind of receiving information or whatever it is, and it sounds weird, but that's something I always just get blank walls on, and what that tells me is not to worry about it. Now, I know that's not the greatest answer for people because we're all looking for that answer. I want to go. Don't get me wrong, man. That's my thing, is I'm like, hey, God, if there's going to be a rapture thing and we all get to escape and not have to deal with an antichrist forcing us all to take a mark or whatever, you know, and going to FEMA camps and all this and blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, take me with you. You know, I want to go, you know. So I'm all aboard, you know.
I will share you with this of my studies of translation. It's something very important that the original translation, it says he causeth He calls it. He doesn't force. He causes. He brings up. But basically, he brings about the mark of the beast. He brings it. He puts it in place. That's very different than forces. Because here's the thing: you've got to look at the character of God, and you've got to look at the character of Satan. Satan does not force anything. He did not force Adam and Eve to do what they do. He is the seducer. He is the accuser. God will not allow him to use force. Now, people that are listening may argue that. I'm just telling you, Satan makes you fall with something you want and pleasurable. So let me just tell you, Satan ain't going to walk up to you with a 666 RFID chip and say, let me put this on. Now, if you think that, I'm telling you right now, you're fooling yourself. That's what the allure of technology, people are camping out for iPhone 6, okay? I mean, things like is seduction. That's how it's going to come about. That's how the serpent does, slowly weaving himself into humanity. That's how it's going to happen. Yeah. It's going to be, because anything else is false. It can't come out and say, okay, y'all going to bow down right now and take this RFID chip.
You know, and also another thing too to remember is, and I don't think you feel this way, but in case anybody else out there does, but don't ever feel like it's just going to blindside you, like it's something that's going to be just something like, oh man, it's going to be overwhelming and I won't be able to resist. No, not at all. You know, I mean, you're never going to be put into a situation like that with no doorway out. Okay, so there'll be no excuse for taking it when it happens. You know, there'll be no excuse for it. It's really just going to be. Man, I don't know. I don't even like to think of it, because if I had to get real and think about people I know in life and all this, and the ones who might take it and the ones who won't, I mean, the ones who might at this point, just people I've known all my life. I mean, there'd be a lot of them.
The basic thing of Satan is deception. Now, think about it. Deception is the number one tool that the enemy uses, is deception. So coming out saying, take the RF. See, here's what let me tell you. The masses killed Christ. The masses are wrong almost every time. If the masses are doing it, it's wrong. I'm going to just tell you that right now.
Well, hey, let me go. Oh, good point, Nicholson. Let me go ahead, and because we're running out at about, I got about 11 minutes or so. But good point, man. Thanks, Francisco. Thanks for the call, man. I hope that some of that helped a little bit.
I did, and thank you guys for answering as well.
Hey, absolutely. I'm glad you called, man. Try again another time. It was nice talking to you, and just take care, man. Stay at peace. Don't let this stuff scare you at all, okay? Yeah. All right, take care, man. All right, so I got a 508 number on the line. Are you there?
I think so.
Yeah, hi. Hey, I'm Kate. This is KJ. Who is this?
Tara Bascom.
Oh, no way. Hey, what's up? Nicholson's on the line with us.
You know what? I'm totally nervous, but I'm going with it.
Don't be. Nothing to be nervous about. It's all right.
I was listening to you, and you were mentioning on having Zachary back on. Zachary Hubbard.
Yeah, I like that.
He's so awesome.
Well, good. I'm glad you like him. Yeah, I think he's really, really good. He's, like I said, I like all these guys. They all have their own pieces. I have my pieces, and Zachary's got his pieces, and his pieces are fascinating.
Exactly. It's a big jigsaw puzzle, and we all need to put the pieces together. You can't judge another person.
Well, I'll totally have him on for one of these type things. I'll have him on as a guest host for an open calls night some night for sure.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so I did a video today. I think I had mentioned it to you in a post or whatever on this crazy commercial. I saw it like 3 years ago.
Go ahead and tell us about it.
It was a promo for the History Channel. It is so creepy. Like, it stopped me dead in my tracks. I was like walking through the living room and I stopped. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Has like all pyramids in it, and they're flying out with like Nephilim, and I don't know. It's just creepy. I'm not kidding. Yeah. It's crazy. But in the beginning, there was these numbers. So I had contacted Zachary, and I'm like, what do these numbers mean? And it was like 747, which also is a plane number, of a plane. And we've had all these plane incidents. But he was like, so he gave me he's like a walking computer. So he gave me this list of all the meanings of it. And the two that stood out was Christ and Jesus, and then it was like a time card thing, like they were punching into a time, like an old-fashioned time card stamp thing. And one of the cards there, it says K, period, Lucy. So like Antichrist. The whole thing is creepy. It shows...
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I would love for you to attack this commercial because there's so much more that I probably don't see. The Hoover Dam is in it.
Is it? Wow. See, there you go. I'll have to... Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I will. Go ahead, Nicholson.
I was going to say, what's the commercial again? I'll check it out.
It's called... it's the promo... It's like a promo for the History Channel. And I think it's called Every Day. I mean, if you go on my channel, it's there.
Okay.
But it took me a while to find it again, actually. I had to go through a lot of work to find it again. And actually that Buddy Holly, I think it's Buddy Holly song, Every Day Gets a Little Closer. It's so
you're
creepy.
telling your age. You're telling your age.
That's all right. I'm 41, December 20th.
Oh, that's not... there you go. Still a kid.
It's a beautiful song.
Well, it's creepy with this thing that's going on with it. Like, they fill these pyramids with, like...
Oh, I see. You're saying they're playing that Buddy Holly song over there while they're showing you all the Illuminati symbols and stuff, right? Yeah, the History Channel shows all kinds of things. I did videos on them in the past. A lot of them got taken away with my last, that scariest movie ever, 111 channel, got taken down. But even recently I was watching something on History Channel, and all the commercials, I mean, the logo is the pyramid already, but outside of that, it's like, now they're doing a show on Revelations, it's like the end is coming, and it's showing all the stuff from Revelations going crazy, and so they're definitely playing their role, and there's a lot of stuff they obviously put out. They even did the whole series, The Men Who Built America, which is all about Freemasons.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, I watch, I call it the evil box, I really don't like to watch the television too much, but sometimes you have to. You have to see what's going on,
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, totally. I mean, I think you're protected. If you're protected, I think by the Holy Spirit, you're protected.
Absolutely.
And when it's time to turn something off. There's times I'll be watching, just going through Netflix, looking at random scary movies and trying to look for stuff. And after a couple of them, it's like I realize I'm watching people getting ripped into shreds, and it starts bumming me out, So you just got to...
It is. I mean, even just with, look at all these... the last 48 hours. I mean, they're literally telling people how to kill people. It's insanity to me. CSI, get away with it. Go murder people.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They're showing you how to get away with it. And then you get Investigation Discovery, the ID channel that, is making murder sexy, Oh,
absolutely. Oh, yes, with the I can't think of her name, but she was
Susan
on
Lucci.
Soap opera. Susan Lucci,
Susan Lucci.
Yeah. I was just, I mean, it's so crazy. But I also was, you were talking about, I don't know if I even said this yet, but the Hoover Dam, and I mentioned, what's his name? Jonathan Kleck.
Yeah.
He did a video from the Super Bowl, I think it was.
I did one too, the Illuminati, where they're playing ping pong underneath the table.
Yes.
Yeah, but I did a video, well, Jonathan did one too, but I did one that's, a Bud Light over troubled water.
I'll have to check it out.
I remember that one.
Yeah, he did it. He broke. I mean, I'll check yours out definitely. He did one, and he saw like the same thing. It's that same black kind of thing where it shows it coming down. It's in this commercial that I did. And there's also
interesting.
This creepy. It's like see-through, and it looks like a giant, like a Nephilim. Just standing there, and it never moves through the frame, so it's not just a Matrix thing. It never moves, stays right there. And you can see, and it's crazy. And the dead sheep with its tongue, and I always think of Jonathan with the dead sheep with its tongue out.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting in all the different ways this stuff comes out. I mean, people complain about it or whatever, but it's interesting. Once you kind of get into it, it really does make viewing things a whole new experience. You can't not look for this stuff. It makes it kind of fun,
It does. Well, if you can't get nothing else out of it, and
Exactly. Plus, the beauty is
the right thing either.
And then but understanding it anyway. I mean, it's already right there. If you see it and you're watching TV and movies and you're already looking for it and you see that stuff, then right there it's not affecting you anymore. You know what I mean? Because you see it. You know, it's over. They can't, whatever the intention is that was behind those originally is gone. You know, it can't affect you. But hey, anyway, nice talking to you, though. I only got a couple minutes left. I guess I better bounce. But thank you for calling, and thanks for always being cool on YouTube.
It's great to talk to you, KJ. I love everything you do. So
thank
keep
you.
up all the great work and send us more videos.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks. And Nicholson, you got anything to say to her?
Just thank you for calling in and also putting out some of your videos too. I mean, so you know, all of us together.
There you go, man.
I'll definitely check out your stuff, and I get a lot of people that I sub to through KJ actually. So I'll definitely sub you up and check you out.
I'll tell you, I'm a little different. I don't talk. You'll never see me. I don't like my voice. I don't want people to judge.
Stop.
This
was my first talking video today because I don't talk.
You did great.
I'm generally shy, so.
Well, good
luck.
I'll
definitely check you out.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, well, hey, thanks again, and take care. I'll talk to you later. All right, now, so we only got a few minutes left. I just want to give you the last couple minutes here, man. Hey, well, first off, what did you think about that? Didn't it go fast?
Man, it went really, really fast. I'm glad a lot of people are calling in and asking good questions and talking. I mean, that's
it's a little crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, 2 hours. I wish we had another hour. So
I know, man. I kind of like it. It's like a new thing. I've just been playing with it the last month or so, but it's fun, and the people seem to like it, and at least it gives it's you never know what it's going to be. That's what I like. You know, we got great callers out there. So I just want to say thanks to all the great callers, by the way, and thanks to everyone in the chat room, and thanks for all you listening live, and it means a lot. And just thank you. And Nicholson, go ahead if you want to give us anything here the last couple minutes.
I just want to say thank you for having me on. Like I said, you have way more subscribers, and they get to hear me. They've never heard of Nicholson1968, so I get a lot of subscribers from you, and you know, through YouTube. So appreciate that. A lot of respect there. You know, just a big thank you for people that are hearing this live, my subscribers that came in the chat room, and people that will hear this after you upload it. You know, big thank you for that. And I've got some stuff that I'm working on, and just bear with me. I did just put a video out. The pill that will kill free will has to do with the Dre beats in the pill, which is partly about the airwaves, the coming future. But I've been also doing music too on the side. So I do music. Because the thing was I was getting in trouble with copyrighted music, so I just... we got to talk about that later, just one-on-one sometime, because I'm getting into my own music, too. Yeah, music. I actually, you know, I have a store at my website called Transcend This, neat T-shirts. I don't ask for money. I don't ask for donations. So this way, if you buy some cool-looking T-shirts, you get something in return. I mean, it's not just my stuff, but some cool stuff. I've got a channel or a page on there just about Disney. I've got some cool, I've got some cool, you'll like them, cool, wicked Disney shirts, that are pretty cool, doing that. But, that's pretty much it. I did want to share with you though, you have got to check this out. Have you seen the movie trailer for Iron Sky, The Coming Race? No, but I'll check it out. Oh my gosh. It is about the Virile Society of Hitler, the coming race. And when you... Yeah. Oh yeah, I've done a lot of reading on that. Yeah. Yeah. And I used to do, you know, the Virile, they believe in the hollow earth and stuff like that, but you got to see the trailer for it. It's hilarious. I mean, you'll probably make a video of it. I know I'm working on it, so... Okay, cool, man. Well, I appreciate that, and I'm a little bit over time, man. But hey, man, thanks again. I know it went crazy and fast. I'll hit you up sometime just on Skype so you and I can just talk, okay? Yeah. But thanks for being a part of it, man. It was great. I'll talk to you a little later, okay? You got it. Skype me whenever, KJ. All right, man. See you later. Wow, there we go, guys. Another night down. That went so fast. They go fast, don't they? But just thanks again. Like I said, thanks again to all of you out there. We'll be back next week. PSNradio.com. Listen live, chat, call in, and we'll see you then, guys. Once again, God bless. Take care out there.